what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of NKU Sports Break. I'm your host, Carly Motzer, and I'm so excited to be joined by Lillian. Lillian, how's your day going?
It's good. How's yours?
Good, good. To get everyone kind of acclimated with each other, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what drew you to NKU?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lillian Young, and I'm a senior on the women's golf team. And the one thing that drew me to NKU is when I first went on a visit, I wasn't really sure if I liked it, but then every time I visited more and more, I knew that this is like where I wanted to be, just meeting people, and everyone was so nice.
Definitely. So with all of those nice people, can you kind of describe your recruiting process and what that looked like?
Yeah, it started, I kind of was just looking online and noticed, they had a pretty good golf program, and there were a couple of people that I knew that went here. And so I kind of just started talking to coach through email and submitting my golf resume and things like that, and came on a couple of visits. And once I came on my last visit and talked to coach about being a part of the team and things like that, I was walking to the parking lot and told my parents, like, this is where I want to go. So I'm ready to commit.
That's awesome. So if you kind of look at that as like the beginning of your journey, how has this program changed and developed you over the course of that now as a senior?
I think the biggest thing is it's definitely made me a much better leader. So coming in as a freshman, I had some really great seniors to look up to, and the people who have graduated since then, I think now it's just kind of like made me a person that really enjoys golf, and it's not so much as a job, but just something I get to do forever.
Yeah, and they always say, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And so obviously, like, with as much as you love golf and how that's gotten to be kind of like your not job but job, what's your favorite part about being on the team?
My favorite part has definitely been traveling, just because we've been lucky enough to go to Florida in the spring, and that's where our conference is. And freshman year, we got to go out to Vegas for a tournament. And so that's been the best part, is just bonding with the team in the airport and all the funny things that we get to do.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That good team morale really kind of carries everything through. It makes it feel not like work, that's for sure. What is a moment from last... Oh, sorry. These Zoom calls are crazy. What is a moment from last year that stands out to you?
Probably, I would say conference, and just because, well, not conference, I guess we didn't get to play conference, but our match play at our conference course, just because that was kind of like, we didn't know that that was going to be our last event, but it's always a fun one that we get to go to, and so everybody had a great time, and that was one where it's like, we got to have fun and everybody played well, so that was probably the one that stood out the most.
You talked about not getting to play conference, and obviously that has kind of trickled into fall with fall sports being postponed. So what does your guys' day-to-day look like? What's the team up to?
Day-to-day, I think a lot of us have online classes, so it kind of makes it nice. We can get to the golf course a little earlier, but we've just been practicing and playing a lot. We've got to go to a couple different courses and that we don't get to see a lot and play. We did have a mixed teams Ryder Cup with our men's team, so that was a really good time, and we've just been trying to get better to carry it over, so we hopefully get to play in the spring.
Absolutely. I think everyone kind of has their fingers crossed for that spring season for everyone. And golf is one of the sports that's fortunate enough that, like, you guys are pretty spread out. So it's something that you guys have been able to still do. So that's good. So what has been your favorite part about being a student athlete at NKU?
My favorite part is probably the support system, just because I think my freshman year, I was a member of SAC, and so that was really interesting and like a good way to get into know everybody. And then since then, it's like all the athletes know each other, and you have teams that intermingle and stuff like that. So that's probably been my favorite part.
Can you tell our viewers what SAC is?
SAC is the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, and it's basically a way that student athletes can I guess, voice their opinion on issues with recruiting and what they'd like to see with athletics, and kind of give their voice and what they think.
I think NKU does an incredible job of amplifying the voices of students. Everyone I've talked to has described it as a family, and so anytime that you get to feel heard, it really like strengthens those bonds, and that's a great thing that NKU is doing for you guys.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that you're a senior, which means that, you know, it's crazy. Your roles kind of come into an end here. So when do you graduate, and what are your post-grad plans?
I will graduate in the spring, and right now I'm in the process of applying to law school. So hopefully I'll end up at Chase Law here at NKU. That's the goal, but I'd be happy with anywhere.
Well, congratulations. That is no
Thank you.
easy feat to tackle for sure. So we wish you the best of luck in your law endeavors. Hopefully we get to keep seeing you around campus.
Thank you.
And so we'll end on a little bit of a warm and fuzzy here. What is your favorite NKU athletics memory?
My favorite memory would probably be spring break 2 years ago. So we're lucky enough that our men's and women's teams get to take a week trip to Florida, and we actually stay with the grandparents. We have a brother and sister on the teams, and so we stay with their grandparents. And I think it was when the NKU men's basketball team was playing for the conference title. And so we got to like cook out, and we're sitting on the beach and watching the game, and they actually won that game. And so we got to watch from there, and it was just really exciting.
I think if I could pick anywhere to be watching the conference title game, I think on a beach is definitely high up on that list of places that I would be. So if you had any advice to give an incoming freshman looking at pursuing a golf career at NKU, what would be that one piece of advice?
I think it would just be to really engage yourself and jump into college, and don't be nervous about anything, and just see where it takes you.
I love that. Well, Lillian, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everyone make sure to give NKU Norse and NKU Women's Golf a follow on social media to be able to keep up with all of the Corona content this fall.